Why do you crave to be liked? You bend, you apologize, you hide your truth, all to gain approval from people who don't even respect you. But Machiavelli would tell you being liked is a weakness. It makes you predictable. It makes you controllable. The moment you start needing to be liked, you hand over your power. Respect is what you should aim for, not affection. Why? Because people who like you will betray you when it's convenient, but people who respect you will always fear the cost of crossing you. Machiavelli knew that love is fragile. It depends on emotions, and emotions change like the weather. Respect, on the other hand, is built on consequence. It lasts because it is enforced. He wrote that it's safer to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. And that isn't about cruelty, it's about logic. Fear maintains order when love inevitably fades. Think about it. The same people who once loved you will turn on you the moment your kindness no longer serves them. But they will still obey you if they respect you. So how do you unlock this dark power of respect? You must stop trying to please everyone. The world teaches you that likability opens doors, but that's a lie told by those who benefit from your obedience. The truly powerful are not liked, they are followed. Their approval is scarce, their words are measured, and their time is valuable. People respect what is rare, not what is common. The more you chase approval, the cheaper you become. The more you withhold it, the more valuable you seem. Now think about the people who hold true power in your life. Do you love them or do you respect them? The difference is simple. You love those who make you feel safe. You respect those who have the power to destroy you, but choose not to. Respect is born from an awareness of your strength, your discipline, your silence. When people know you can bite but choose not to, they start to measure their words around you. That is control. That is power. Machiavelli would tell you that the first step to being respected is to stop over-explaining yourself. Weak men defend every decision. Strong men let results speak for them. Every time you explain your worth, you lower it. You must learn the art of silence. Let people assume what they want while you move with precision. The powerful don't justify. They demonstrate. They let their presence, their decisions, and their consequences define who they are. To be respected, you must embrace the loneliness that comes with independence. When you no longer depend on others' approval, you become untouchable. The crowd will call you cold, arrogant, maybe even heartless, but secretly, they'll admire you. Because deep down, they wish they had your strength. They wish they could stop caring, stop apologizing, stop begging to be understood. Respect begins the moment you stop explaining yourself to those who are beneath your mission. The dangerous truth is this: being liked is a trap. It forces you to conform, to betray your own instincts just to keep others comfortable. You smile when you want to speak your mind, you agree when you should refuse, and you help people who drain your energy just to seem good, but good people are rarely powerful. Machiavelli said that rulers must learn how not to be good when goodness becomes destructive. You must know when to be ruthless for the sake of your peace, your time, and your throne. Respect is not earned through kindness, it's earned through boundaries. When people know there is a line they cannot cross, they start treating you differently. Set limits and enforce them without emotion. Don't argue. Don't explain, just act. If someone disrespects you, distance yourself without a word. When your silence becomes the punishment, people learn much faster than they ever will from your anger. The fear of losing your presence is far more powerful than the desire for your approval. Machiavelli understood that a leader who tries to be liked by everyone ends up being ruled by everyone. People will exploit your need for affection, manipulate your compassion, and drain your energy for their own benefit. But when you start prioritizing respect, the weak disappear. The snakes slither away because they can't manipulate what they can't control. And what remains is loyalty built not on fleeting love, but on a clear recognition of your strength. So learn to disappoint people. Say no without guilt. Detach from the opinions of others. You will lose friends, but you will gain clarity. You will lose fake admiration, but you will gain real power. Machiavelli would say that the moment people stop taking you for granted is the moment you stop needing them. Power always begins in solitude, when you no longer crave approval and start demanding respect. Remember, respect isn't just about fear, it's about presence. When you walk into a room and people straighten their posture, lower their voices, or measure their words, that's not fear of harm, it's an awareness of power. They feel your control, your self-mastery, your command of emotion. That invisible pressure is the dark aura Machiavelli admired, quiet dominance. So stop trying to be liked. The world doesn't respect kindness without consequence. Be kind when you choose to be, but never at the expense of your strength. Be calm, but never passive. Be generous, but never naive. Let your actions inspire admiration, your silence create unease, and your decisions demand respect. Because at the end of the day, the crowd will forget who they liked, but they will never forget who they feared to disrespect. The path to respect is narrow and lonely, but it leads to true freedom. When you stop performing for others, you begin ruling yourself. And when you rule yourself, no one can rule you. That is Machiavelli's dark truth. Stop being liked and the world will finally start respecting you. Thank you for watching. If this message resonated with you, subscribe and follow for more insights into the nature of power. You've probably heard that nice guys finish last. But what if it's not about being nice or mean? What if the real key to power is something far darker, something Machiavelli understood centuries ago? He would say the desire to be liked is the beginning of all weakness. It's the seed for every compromise you shouldn't have made, every apology you didn't owe, and every silence you now bitterly regret. Think about it. People who desperately crave to be liked spend their entire lives performing. They twist themselves into pretzels, trying to match the shape of other people's expectations. They become actors in a play they never wrote. But the ones who demand respect? They don't just fit into the world. They bend reality to their will. When you finally stop needing everyone's approval, something incredible happens. People start feeling your power. Their comfort zone depended on you being predictable, on your compliance. When that disappears, they get nervous, and that nervousness isn't hatred. It's the birth of respect. Machiavelli knew that respect isn't a prize you win with kindness or charm. It's forged from boundaries, the invisible wall you build that tells the world, you may look, but you may not touch. True respect means you are no longer available to everyone, anytime, for anything. It means your silence becomes louder and more meaningful than the constant noise made by others. When you learn to speak rarely, your words gain the weight of law. When you act slowly and deliberately, your actions strike with terrifying precision. People don't respect the person who tries to please the crowd. They respect the one who can walk away from it without a moment's hesitation. The world rewards distance. It's a fundamental law of value. When you are everywhere you're common, you lose your worth. But when you are scarce, you gain weight, you become significant. This is why rulers throughout history mastered the art of appearing less to accomplish more. Mystery amplifies strength. The less people know about your thoughts, your next move, the more they have to imagine. And what they imagine will always be far greater, far more powerful than anything you could ever reveal. It's the difference between showing them a card trick and making them believe you can perform real magic. Machiavelli taught princes to be both the lion and the fox. The lion to inspire a healthy dose of fear, and the fox to cleverly navigate the traps of deceit. But the person who just wants to be liked, he is neither. The one who tries to please everyone becomes prey for everyone. He hides his claws, dulls his teeth, and ultimately dies with a hollow, forced smile on his face, having achieved nothing. In contrast, the one who embraces respect moves through the world almost untouchable, admired by a select few, envied by many, and truly understood by none. So how do you unlock this dark power of respect? You start by stopping your search for comfort and social harmony. Let people misunderstand you. Let them gossip, let them call you cold, distant, or arrogant. Their chatter is just noise, and it's proof of your impact. They only talk because your presence, your self-possession, exposes their own weakness and insecurity. The truly powerful do not waste time explaining themselves. They watch, they wait, and they decide. If someone disrespects you, your first instinct might be to argue, to defend yourself. Don't. Arguments are a battlefield for equals, and you must operate on the principle that they are not your equal in that moment. Instead of words, show them silence, detachment, and consequence. Withdraw your presence, your energy, your acknowledgement. That absence, that sudden void where you used to be, will echo far louder than any insult you could ever scream back. People instinctively respect those who can vanish without a trace of emotion, because the power to disappear is the ultimate weapon of the influential. Machiavelli would tell you that to be respected, your emotions must serve you. You must never be a slave to them. The angry man loses his power the moment he shouts. The emotional man loses control the moment his voice cracks, but the calm man? He rules them both. Even your rage, when you choose to show it, must be strategic, a calculated move, never a spontaneous outburst. If you must punish, do it with cold, clear purpose. If you choose to forgive, do it from a position of undeniable superiority. Every single gesture, every word, every silence must reinforce your dominance, not your desperate desire for affection. Remember this crucial distinction. Being liked is about giving people what they want from you. Being respected is about giving them what they need from you: discipline, structure, certainty, and strength. The world doesn't actually like the strong. It desperately needs them. It needs rulers to bring order to the chaos of human emotions. That's why people will always follow those they secretly fear a little. Because that fear brings stability, and that stability feels like safety in a turbulent world. Machiavelli's philosophy isn't about cruelty. It's about clarity. He had a crystal-clear understanding of human nature, that people are often selfish, emotional, and easily swayed. To survive and thrive, you must master that nature in yourself and others, not just blindly obey its whims. You must become the rock that others depend on, yet never depend on anyone yourself. That fierce independence radiates an aura that people can sense. They might call it confidence. Machiavelli called it power. So, the next time you feel that familiar urge to be liked, to soften your opinion, to laugh at a joke you don't find funny, pause. Ask yourself a simple question. Do I want their temporary affection, or do I want their lasting obedience? One of these fades with time, moods, and seasons. The other builds empires. Respect lasts longer than charm. It outlives beauty, it outlives wealth, and it certainly outlives noise. The man who is respected commands a room even when he's silent, and his influence rules long after he's gone. Stop begging for scraps of approval from others. Withdraw your light. Refine your silence. And become the figure that others whisper about, not because they like you, but because they are terrified of disappointing you. That is the moment you'll know you finally unlocked Machiavelli's dark secret. That respect, earned through controlled strength and strategic distance, is the purest and most enduring form of power in this world. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, consider subscribing for more insights into the nature of power. See you in the next one. When you stop trying to be liked, something remarkable happens. People finally see you for who you are. The masks fall away, the forced smiles fade. And in that raw, unfiltered space, you begin to see who truly values your presence, and who was only there for what you could offer them. Machiavelli would call this a purification of your influence. When you stop seeking validation, you burn away the weak, superficial connections, leaving only what is real, what is loyal. Think about it. Being liked is easy. It requires no strength, only surrender. You just have to agree with others, hide your true opinions, and smile when you really want to scream. You let people walk all over you in the name of keeping the peace. But a peace built on submission isn't peace at all, it's a quiet, slow defeat. Machiavelli understood this deeply. He knew that any man who lives only to be liked dies filled with regret. The world doesn't remember the ones who were merely liked. It remembers those who were feared, respected, or obeyed. When you start seeking respect instead of affection, you step into a completely different arena. It's colder there, and often lonelier. But it's the only place where true greatness can be born. In that space, your silence carries meaning. Your boundaries suddenly have weight. Your very presence becomes a test for others. Those who can handle your strength will grow alongside you, and those who can't will flee. This is how nature itself separates the weak from the strong. The dark power of respect begins with detachment. The less you need from other people, the more they will find themselves needing you. The man who desires nothing from others cannot be controlled. He can't be bribed with cheap compliments or manipulated by attention. He is dangerous not because he is a threat, but because he is free. Machiavelli admired freedom, but not the kind you read about in poems. He admired the freedom of a ruler who bows to no one's opinion but his own. So, you must learn the art of emotional withdrawal. When someone offends you, don't react, observe. When someone betrays you, don't chase after them, replace them. When someone disrespects you, don't get into an argument, let your absence be their punishment. Every single time you choose calm control over an emotional reaction, you gain another piece of respect. People may not say it out loud, but deep down, they will know. You are not someone to be provoked. Our world often confuses kindness with weakness. It publicly praises politeness, but secretly it worships dominance. Why do people obey authority figures they don't even like? Because authority speaks with certainty. It doesn't ask to be liked, it commands attention. This is precisely why Machiavelli famously said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." Now, fear here doesn't mean cruelty. It means certainty. It means that others understand that if they cross your boundaries, there will be a consequence. Look throughout history. Every great leader, every ruler who held power for any significant amount of time, they were not universally loved. They were respected. And that respect was built on a foundation of discipline, distance, and self-control. You must adopt this same strategy in your own life. Do not make yourself constantly available. Do not give away your emotions so freely. And never, ever feel the need to explain your standards, only enforce them. You will notice something fascinating. When you stop caring about being liked, some people will leave your life. Let them go. Their departure is a gift. It means they were not built to exist in the orbit of strength. Weak people thrive in environments where emotions are the main currency. But power changes the entire economy. As you rise, emotions lose their value, and your actions become the only language that truly matters. Respect changes everything. It changes how people talk to you, how they think about you, and how they approach you. Suddenly, your opinion carries more weight, not because you started shouting louder, but because your silence means more. Your energy becomes precious. People will start choosing their words more carefully around you, afraid to lose your favor. That isn't arrogance. That's genuine influence. Here's the dark truth that few are willing to accept. You cannot earn both respect and constant affection. One must die for the other to live. The choice you make defines your destiny. The man who is liked pleases the crowd but ultimately fades into the noise of mediocrity. The man who is respected may walk a lonelier path, but his name echoes for centuries. Machiavelli would tell you, if you must choose, always choose to be respected, because respect brings power. And with that power, you get to decide who is deserving of your kindness, your mercy, and your time. Being liked gives other people control over you. Being respected gives you control over your world. Choose wisely. Thank you for watching. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more insights on building a life of strength and purpose. We'll see you in the next one. Respect is not something you ask for. It's something you build in silence. The moment you start demanding it with words, it begins to fade away. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. Power that has to explain itself is already weakening. A true ruler never says, "Respect me." He acts in a way that no one dares to do otherwise. This same principle applies directly to your life. The instant you stop begging to be liked, your energy starts to command its own gravity. When you no longer need to be liked, you become unpredictable, and unpredictability is power. People can only control what they understand. When they can't read you, they begin to fear you. Now that fear isn't hatred, it's acknowledgement. It's their instinct recognizing that you have shifted from ordinary to dangerous. You are no longer just reacting to the world, you are actively shaping it. But understand this, being respected requires sacrifice. You have to be willing to kill the parts of yourself that crave comfort and praise. You must learn to stand still when others are desperately seeking approval. You must accept being the villain in someone else's story, because every strong person eventually becomes the antagonist to the weak. They'll call you arrogant for setting boundaries, heartless for saying no, and cold for valuing your own time. Let them, their labels are just confessions of their own fragility. Machiavelli's wisdom isn't about cruelty, it's about control. He teaches that you must be both the architect and the enforcer of your own power. You cannot depend on others to grant you respect. It is built from how you carry yourself, your words, your silence, your gaze. When you walk into a room, your energy must announce that you are not to be played with. Not because you shout, but because you don't need to. The man who needs to be liked gives away his soul piece by piece, constantly apologizing for his opinions, diluting his strength just to avoid rejection. But rejection is not your enemy. Dependence is. The moment people sense that you need them, they begin to control you. That's why the very first rule of respect is emotional independence. You must be whole, even when you are completely alone. When someone disrespects you, do not lower yourself to their level. Machiavelli would tell you, never fight on equal ground with a fool. You don't punish disrespect with noise. You punish it with distance, withdraw completely. Let them feel the vacuum of your absence. That silence will haunt them far longer than any argument ever could. The most painful revenge is genuine indifference. You must also learn to weaponize your calm. The world expects chaos when it provokes you, but when you remain calm, others crumble. Calmness is control, and control is dominance. This is how kings and conquerors ruled not by rage, but by unshakable composure. When you master your emotions, you own every battlefield you step onto. Machiavelli's dark brilliance lies in his deep understanding of human nature. He knew that people are drawn to strength even when they hate it. They might criticize you publicly, but they will admire you privately. The same mouths that curse you in the daylight will speak your name with a sense of awe in the dark. That's why you must never chase validation. It comes crawling back to you when it realizes it cannot break you. If you want respect, act like your time is expensive, your attention is rare, and your emotions are sacred. Don't give them away freely. Don't entertain small talk, small people, or small ambitions. The moment you limit your access, people begin to treat your presence like a privilege. This is how rulers are born, not through brute force, but through controlled scarcity. Remember, the desire to be liked is the leash that holds most people down. They dance for attention, they laugh to be accepted, and they live in constant fear of disapproval. But those who are truly respected move differently. Their silence intimidates, their confidence disturbs, and their high standards unsettle the weak. They don't follow trends. They set them. Stop trying to please those who do not understand your vision. The path of respect is narrow and often lonely, but it leads to sovereignty, the kind of internal power that no betrayal, rejection, or insult can ever touch. You don't need everyone to like you. You just need to become the kind of person whose presence demands silence. Thanks for watching. If this message resonated with you, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more content on building unshakable strength. See you in the next one. Stop trying to be liked. The moment you stop caring about being liked is the moment you begin to transform into something far more powerful. People no longer see you as someone to manipulate or control. Instead, they start to measure their words, adjust their tone, and respect your silence. Machiavelli understood this principle perfectly. He knew that the desire to be liked is the first chain that binds a person. Those who live for approval often die without power, but those who live for respect, they rule, even in silence. Think about it. When you want to be liked, you say yes when you really mean no. You force a smile when you just want to leave. You tolerate disrespect just to keep the peace. But peace built on a foundation of weakness is just a delayed humiliation. The world doesn't respect those who beg for love. It respects those who have the strength to walk away from it. From the moment they meet you, people will test you. They'll push, they'll provoke, they'll measure just how far they can go. If you bend to please them, they learn your limits and where they can exploit you. But if you stand your ground, if your eyes stay calm while they try to get a rise out of you, they begin to understand something profound. They are in the presence of someone who cannot be moved. And that is exactly when respect begins to bloom. Machiavelli believed that fear and respect are twins. I'm not talking about the fear of violence, but the fear of consequence. People respect what they cannot manipulate. They respect what they don't fully understand, so become that mystery. Never feel the need to explain too much. Speak less and act with precision. Let your silence make them wonder. When you stop caring about being liked, people will call you cold. Let them, that's just how the weak describe a strength they can't break. They'll say you've changed, but what they really mean is they can no longer benefit from your softness. Don't take it personally. They aren't angry that you've changed. They're angry that you've evolved beyond their control. Being liked is easy. It requires no courage, but being respected, that often means standing alone. It means saying no, even when your voice shakes. It means cutting ties with things that are comfortable but ultimately hold you back. Machiavelli famously said a ruler must be both a lion and a fox. The fox is clever enough to see through the lies and traps, and the lion has the strength to enforce the truth. If you are only a fox, you are clever but weak. If you are only a lion, you are strong but predictable. But if you can be both silent when you need to be and formidable when you must be, you become untouchable. The world loves people who are useful. But when you stop trying to be useful to everyone, you start becoming valuable to yourself. And that's when your entire energy changes. People start to feel your presence differently. You can walk into a room and the air just tightens. Not because you're loud or aggressive, but because you are controlled. Your energy sends a clear message. This person is not one of us. This person cannot be played. Respect is earned in how you handle disrespect. Don't get dragged into arguments with fools. Don't shout to prove your point. Don't react to cheap insults. Just remove yourself from the situation. Let silence be your most powerful weapon. The absence of your energy is often louder and more impactful than any confrontation. People remember those who can walk away without a word. It makes them think. It can even make them regret their actions. That's how real power works. It whispers where others scream. Machiavelli also taught that a wise person never shows all their emotions. Keep your happiness private. Keep your pain hidden. Never let people know what truly shakes you. Control your facial expressions, your tone of voice, your very breath, because every reaction you give away is a piece of your control that you're handing over. The man who cannot be read is the man who cannot be defeated. When people cannot predict your next move, they begin to fear disappointing you. And from that specific fear, respect is born. The most dangerous person in any room is the one who has mastered calmness. They watch everything, react to nothing, and act only when the outcome is certain. When you finally stop trying to be liked, you begin to build that inner calm. You stop chasing people. You stop feeling the need to explain yourself. You stop apologizing for having standards. And the very moment you do, your world will shift. The same people who once ignored you will start seeking your validation. The same voices that mocked you will start to echo your tone, because strength has a way of rewriting the social order. People can sense a hierarchy even when it's unspoken. As Machiavelli would tell you, never trade your respect for comfort. Comfort weakens kings. Discipline builds empires. The crowd is always seeking pleasure, but the ruler seeks control, and that control always begins with self-mastery. So stop reacting to everything. Stop sharing every thought that pops into your head. Stop trying to prove your worth to others. Let your actions and your silence speak for you. Be polite but detached. Be kind but unreadable. Be available but never dependent. The less people know about what's going on in your mind, the more they will respect it. The less they see your emotions, the more they will fear awakening them. Remember, respect isn't built by what you give, it's built by what you withhold. Machiavelli's philosophy wasn't about cruelty, it was about vision. He saw a truth that most people cannot bear to face, that the world runs on perception. And if you can control the perception of you, you can control your reality. So become the person others discuss in whispers. The one whose name carries weight even when they aren't in the room. Stop being liked. Be respected. Be remembered. Be feared just enough that no one ever dares to waste your time. Because the person who no longer needs to be liked is the person who is truly free. Thank you so much for watching. If this message resonated with you, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell for more content just like this. We'll see you in the next one.